YouTube, what a guan. Hope you guys are doing well and staying blessed up. So that being said, I'm feeling blessed. Hope you guys are doing well, and I've got a banger for you guys right here on this channel with this particular video. So what I'm going to be breaking down is how to actually go and find your perfect media buyer or team member in 8 simple steps. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into it. So guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. That's all I ask for in return for these videos. Make sure you definitely subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because a lot of you guys are not subscribed, but yet you're watching my channel. So please make sure you're obviously subscribed. That being said, that's all I ask for in return. So what I want to do is get into this video. I will try, I always say this, but I'll try to keep this one short. So we're going to be breaking this down in sequential order. And point number one, or step number one to finding your perfect media buyer is number one, identifying what a perfect media buyer looks like for you. Because some people already have results, for example, some people might not have results. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're an agency and you already have, generated crazy amounts of results. So you're not really looking for a media buyer who already has results. Let's say you're, for example, a, agency that doesn't have results. You're probably then going to have to look for somebody who has at least some sort of decent results, so that you can actually, bring them on as a team member and actually leverage their results to actually then generate clients and attract clients to you. So what I would highly recommend you do is just have a little think as to grab a pen, piece of paper, and write down what your perfect media buyer looks like. I'm telling you guys, this is probably the most overskipped type of step when it comes to finding your media buyer. Again, I'm just going to use media buyer, but I like to use team members and stuff like that, and actually call them a team member, because I feel like we're building an actual business here, not just some weird, cranky, weird online business. But long story short, guys, what you want to do is write down on a piece of paper what your media buyer looks like, your perfect media buyer looks like. How much are you going to pay them? What are their personality traits? What sort of results can they generate? For example, for me, one of the criteria was they must at least have spent 10K on ads in a single month, or even 2 months. So what you can actually do, guys, is say that I want a media buyer that's at least spent X amount. Obviously make this realistic, guys, for the price you're going to pay. So what you want to do, guys, again, is write down the characteristics. I want a media buyer that's, I charge this much to, and by the way, I recommend you pay them anywhere between £500 and £1,000 or whatever that is in the US. So again, it's probably around $500 to $1,000, just a little bit over $1,000. That's the kind of price range I kind of recommend you stick to. $500 to $1,000 is what I'm kind of looking for in terms of my media buyer. But over here in the UK, obviously we charge in pounds, so it's £500 to £1,000. It's a little bit more expensive over here in the UK, I guess, because obviously the conversion rate and whatnot. But you guys get the idea. So again, write down what they actually look like, what their personality is like, what sort of results they're able to generate, what their personality and traits are like as well, because that's obviously very important. So that's point number one, identifying what your perfect media buyer looks like. Because if you don't know what you're aiming for, you're going to miss that shot every single time, because you've got nothing to aim for. So definitely aim for something. Again, this is something that you're taught in SMA as well, that like when you're going after clients, for example, you have to identify your perfect client, and then obviously go after those and where they congregate. So now that you've actually found who you are identifying as a perfect media buyer, what you want to do is then figure out how you're actually going to attract those. Now what I recommend you do, and this is point number 2, is create what you call a template posting. Now a template posting breaks down what the role is, what you're looking for, who you're looking for. Don't go into extreme amounts of detail where it's very hard to read. Just keep it a very a few sentences short. Say like you're looking for for example, e-commerce media buyer who's who's notoriously been able to generate great ROAS for clients, and obviously state I'm looking for somebody who can generate an average of like 3 to 5x ROAS. Obviously that's hard to say, because obviously there's so many variables that go into that, but obviously just show the kind of like expectations you have from them in your post. Now what you want to do is keep that kind of safe. I would highly recommend you use Evernote. I use Evernote, and this is how I did it for me. I used Evernote to keep my templates in there, and what you want to do is use those templates to actually, I guess, post on Upwork. This is where I found my media buyer, on Upwork. You can post on LinkedIn, you can post in Facebook groups, you can post on other freelance websites as well. So what you want to do, guys, and this is the key, and I guess this takes me on to point number 3, is that you want to post at least once a day. This is the key, guys. I'm not even joking. I used to think that like finding a media buyer was like, oh yeah, you post like once a week or something like that, and you just kind of leave it and it will build up. Guys, it really doesn't work like that. You want to build up your pool, if you will. You want to, this is I guess where we're starting to build out your pool. So step 1 would identify. Number 2 was to create templates so that you can actually create your job posting that actually states what you're looking for. Step number 3 is to actually then post and build up your pool of people, of talent. And what I mean by that is you want to start posting every single day. You actually want to treat this like outreach. I was posting, for example, once a day on Upwork on my client account to actually find a media buyer. Sometimes I was posting 2 times a day, guys, and I did this consistently for 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not even joking, guys. So you definitely want to make make sure you're doing this for at least 3 weeks straight, or at least, basically you want to aim for at least 30 people in your actual, I guess, talent pool. Now, once you've got this pool, what you're going to do is you're going to send them down to a questionnaire, which leads me on to point number 4. So point number 4, as I already kind of skipped ahead and mentioned, is you want to consistently post for at least 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not even joking. And you want to post at least once a day, depending on the platform this is. If it's a Facebook group and you're just posting that same post every single day in that Facebook group, you are 100% going to get kicked out. You're going to be seen as very, very annoying. But guys, I've noticed that a lot of you guys are thinking that you're going to post one time and find the perfect media buy. That's never going to happen. Just so stop living it in like la la land. You're definitely going to have to put work into this, and you want to treat it kind of like outreach. You actually want to do this every day and ritualize it just for a month, and then post out. I guess I would actually do it at the same time every day, just so you can actually kind of systemize it, if you will. And that's kind of how I recommend it. And again, you want to aim for at least 30 people in terms of that they've replied to you. And now what you want to do is move on to part number 5, which is to get this talent pool to go through another kind of like template message. So when people start replying to your job posting or even DMing you, or you've DM'd them, what you're going to do is reply with another template that you should already have previously built out that sends them to a Google form, but basically they can fill out, so you can actually weed out the tire kickers from obviously the perfect fits. And what you want to do, guys, is in this form, you want to ask them maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10, 12 questions, for example, that basically break down what you're looking for in terms of, you can ask them, are you a freelancer, or are you a, agency owner, or are you a white label service, or are you actually just, an individual Facebook ads type of person? You're probably going to be wanting to look for obviously an individual that's not an agency, because obviously if you're running your own agency, it's kind of be conflicting. You want to ask them about their work history, their previous results, of course, for Facebook ads. You want to ask them what their hobbies are, what they get up to in their free time, just so you can kind of weed out all the people that are going to be too busy to work with you, that sort of stuff. So all this is basically in aims to actually pull out the best applicants. So again, you want to go take them through an application form, and I recommend you use Google Forms to actually build this out, and that's point number 5. So point number 6, guys, is obviously to review all of these applicants now. So once you've actually started getting all these people into your talent pool, you're going to get them to go into your actual Google form. And I should have mentioned this earlier, but you actually want 30 people to actually go through and answer your actual Google form. I actually had 36 applicants. I think it was actually 37, if I'm being honest with you. One came in late. So 37 applicants actually went through my Google form over a period of, I believe it was 3 weeks or 4 weeks, something like that. Don't quote me on that. I was posting every single day. I was posting in Facebook groups. I was posting on Upwork. I didn't really use LinkedIn for this particular hire, but I have used LinkedIn before, and it worked really well, because you can literally type into to LinkedIn media buyer or Facebook ad specialist, for example, and you can actually add people and start conversations that way. So that's a really great way, because no one's really utilizing that. Obviously everybody's just going to Facebook groups and just posting in a group. So I feel like Facebook groups are just kind of like dying out. I personally haven't ever hired anybody from a Facebook group. I've noticed that when you hire people from Facebook group, yes, the quality is greater, but they come from more of a place where they're trying to build out more of an agency, and they know, I guess it's really weird to say this, but they kind of, because they're in a Facebook group, they charge more. I don't know what it is, but they literally genuinely charge more. So with my media buy, they're actually based in Europe. I'm actually paying them anywhere, I can't really disclose this, but I'm paying them anywhere between £500 and £50 actually is what I'm actually paying them. That was the kind of like price range that I actually set. And basically how I got to that point, guys, is I went through all the applicants, and obviously I weeded through and actually read them all. I kind of even opened it into a Google spreadsheet, so you can actually see like a person's name and all of their results, and another person's name and all their results. And obviously what I did was I just literally eliminated all the people that weren't a good fit, obviously reviewing their Google forms. And again, like I said, you want at least 30 people to go through this, because let's say you have like a 10% hire rate, that's going to be, or even 10% of the people are probably going to be, good fits. That means you're only going to have like three, maybe even 5 people, for obviously 10% of 30 is free. So you're going to have like 3 people that are actually going to be a good fit. The rest of them are going to be tire kickers, agencies, other people that are just not a good fit. So you want to at least aim for at least 30 to 40 people going through your actual Google forms. So then you can review those, and you're going to have 3 to 4, maybe even 5 applicants that you're going to interview. That leads me on to point number 7. Point number 7, of course, is the interview itself. The interview itself might feel a little bit awkward to you, but you really need to ask tough questions. As in, one of the questions you want to definitely ask is, if you can generate great results like this, why have you not started your own agency? If they say they want to like start an agency, do not hire them. If they say anything about, using you as like a stepping stone and building their own business, do not hire them. If they talk about how they party every day and stuff like that, don't hire them. You want to actually find people that are like very introverted, that these are are the perfect media buyers I've actually found. People that are like introverted, they love Facebook ads, they just love numbers, they kind of just live in their home office on their computer and they just crunch numbers all day and they're kind of nerdy. That's literally what the perfect media buyer looks like. It's kind of funny, but you kind of want them not to have a life. Kind of sounds a little bit horrible, but you literally want them to not really have much of a life going on. You just want them to be like very business orientated, reading books in their spare time, going for walks. That sort of stuff is what I found to be the perfect media buyer. Of course, you have to, obviously, in the interview, you 100% have to make them go to their Facebook ad accounts and refresh the page, of course. So make sure you obviously do that. So with my media buyer, the results were really, really awesome. Average ROAS was literally around 10. Some of the clients they were working with like 22 on average, like literally ROAS on average was like 22. It was absolutely ridiculous. This was like instant hire for me. Price was right. Everything was basically right. And again, I found this person because I took them through this process, this 8-step funnel, if you will. And that's how I was able to do it. Then obviously, guys, on the interview, like I said, you want to ask about them. You want to make sure they have great results in terms of they can actually prove it and refresh the page. So nothing's amiss there. You want to make sure they're obviously legit and stuff like that. You want to make sure they're obviously going to be a good fit with you, because you're probably going to be talking to these dudes on a daily basis, or this person on a daily basis. So you want to make sure that you obviously gel well with them and they're going to be a good fit. Not only that, you want to see that they're hardworking and they're going to go above and beyond for your business as well. Because obviously, the better you get results for your clients, the longer they're going to stay on, which means the more money you're going to make. Not only that, but the better results, if you're with a ROAS deal, the better results you generate them, the more money you're going to make on the ROAS deal, because you're going to kick back more money into profit for you as well. Obviously, you want to make sure the price is right. So again, identify them and then you go about, putting them through this funnel. And then the very last step is, and this is something that obviously people kind of forget about this step. So obviously part 7 is the interview. You then hire the best one. So it kind of eliminates, you take 5 people out of the 30 applicants. You then interview the 5 people. Out of those 5 people, you obviously hire the best one. Now what you do is obviously you sign a contract with them, which is an NDA. You also sign an employee contract, which basically outlines and states very clearly what they're going to be offering for you, when you're going to pay them, how much you're going to pay them, what they are and are not going to do. I've already kind of mentioned that. And just the overall like working guidelines, if they want to terminate the contract, that sort of stuff. So you want to make sure you do that. My particular NDA also comes with what you call a case study kind of like fair use policy, where I've had to kind of create this myself, but I basically put in my NDA. And obviously if you're in the 4-week program of mine, you get this given to you for free in the resources section. But basically what it basically states is that when I work with a media buyer, I'm allowed to use their case studies in order to attract clients, and it makes them, because it's in a contract, it makes them feel confident that I'm not going to use their results and just run off, because in my contract it states that I cannot do that, which I'm completely fine with, because I only want to work with 1 to 2 very solid media buyers at a time. So obviously, just depending on the growth of my business, I just want to make sure that I have one team member. I don't want to use like loads of different contractors. I want one team member. That's a big difference. So that's what I recommend you do. And step number 8, I guess that was 7.5, I guess. Step number 8 would be to keep all the other applicants' emails in terms of the people that you've actually interviewed previously. So let's say you interview 5 people, you hire 1 people. You want to keep the other people's emails safe. So the other 4 people that didn't actually make it, you want to keep those emails safe, because what you can actually do is you now already know that they're probably, that most of them are gonna, maybe 2 or 3 of those people that you keep are probably going to be a good fit. They just didn't really make the cut because you found that one diamond in the dirt. But if your diamond in the dirt becomes ill, for example, for a month or something like that, God forbid, you obviously are gonna have to find another media buyer. And instead of doing this whole process again, you've got now contacts in your Rolodex that you can hit up via email and they say, hey, look, we have this project. Are you still available? And are you still willing to work with us with this particular client? So that's how you go about hiring your perfect media buyer in 8 steps. For me, I used Upwork and I used a little bit of Facebook to actually have a couple of interviews. I ended up interviewing 5 people actually. No, excuse me, it was actually 4 people, because the 4th person was the actual fit. So as you can see, the perfect fit. The 5th interview actually got cancelled, but there was 5 interviews set on my calendar with media buyers, and I hired the 4th person because I just knew that right off the bat they were just a perfect fit. The results were good, the personality was good, just everything about them was perfect basically, and I found them on Upwork. So I recommend you do that. And again, the strategy is to post multiple times a day. If you take anything, you want to post multiple times a week. If you take anything from this video, just remember, it took me literally 3 weeks, or even I think it was actually 4 weeks, and I posted every single day at the same time, and I weeded through all of these with a template templated message, because people were replying back saying, hey, yeah, blah, 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 with their proposals. I would just send them straight to a Google form. It's literally just a templated message, Google form. They fill out the Google form. I then, after like a couple of weeks, I reviewed all the Google forms and hit up the people that I actually wanted to interview. Had an interview with them. Like 5 of them was were booked on my calendar. 4 of them I actually interviewed. The 4th one was the person I'm working with right now, and I'm very, very happy because the price is right, the results are good, and yeah, highly recommend you do that, guys. Make sure you set up your contracts as well and your non-disclosure agreement so that your working arrangements is impact and solidified, if you will, and legalized. So yeah, that's how you go about creating and getting your perfect media buy. That being said, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.